The technical directive that discusses the bouncing of cars sent to the teams by the FIA in Canada will come into effect from the next race weekend in Belgium. But what exactly is going to be the change to Formula One? Here is everything you need to know. Formula One is driving a new generation of cars for the first time this season. These are specifically designed so that a driver loses less downforce when driving behind someone, thus allowing for more overtaking action on the track. To do this, Formula One has brought back ground effect, but it has now become clear that the return of this ground effect has brought some difficulties for the teams. Some teams' cars are still bouncing a lot at high speeds. This may be due to the phenomenon of porpoising. The bumpy road surface in Azerbaijan made the bouncing so bad that several drivers, mainly Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, had serious physical complaints after the race. It naturally led to a discussion about safety, with one arguing that the FIA should intervene, while the others felt that the teams affected should sort it out themselves. Ultimately, the FIA decided to intervene. A new technical directive was sent to the teams during the race weekend in Canada. A technical guideline explains how the regulations are applied. In this case, it concerns the technical guideline TD039. This states that following various complaints from drivers about the physical effect of the bouncing, the vertical forces on the car, the vibrations, will be measured and monitored. At first, it was not clear from when the FIA would enforce this, but it is now known that this will be from the race weekend in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps. These vibrations are measured using sensors that are already in the cars. The FIA has set a limit to which drivers may be exposed to these vibrations. Anyone who exceeds this limit is therefore breaking the regulations. But that's not the only thing that will change. The FIA has also tightened regulations surrounding mounting the shell under the floor of the cars. This plank is located under the car and should prevent teams from cheating with the minimum height. If too much of this plank has worn off at the end of the race, the driver will be disqualified. However, the FIA has discovered that a number of teams have boards under the floor that can bend beyond what the technical regulations have allowed. This is because the regulations surrounding the skid block can currently be interpreted in two ways. The first way is, as it were, how the FIA intended it, and the second way is a more creative interpretation. In this second way, the skid block can be made more flexible, allowing for a lower ride height, which in turn brings aerodynamic benefits. While the teams adopting this creative approach don't break the rules, the FIA sees it as a way to get around the technical regulations. In addition, the big bosses of the sport do not think it is fair if the vertical vibrations on all cars were measured in the same way, when there would be more than one way to mount the shelf. The FIA has therefore decided that from the race weekend in Belgium, that the board may only be mounted in one way, namely the original way as the FIA intended. This in turn led to frustration at Red Bull Racing and Ferrari, as they have reportedly applied the creative interpretation that once Formula One starts racing again at Spa, is no longer considered legal. The FIA has also announced a number of adjustments for 2023 because they think the cars will only generate more downforce next year due to further development, with bouncing therefore only getting worse. These include a 25mm increase from the floor of the car, an increase in the underside of the diffuser, a tightening of the floor bending tests, and a new sensor is introduced to better map the aerodynamic vibrations. Now, this has yet to be approved by the World Motorsport Council, but it seems only a matter of time. So what do you think? Is the change in regulations midway through a season and then changing them again for 2023 fair or not? Red Bull and Ferrari appear to be frustrated by it, and Christian Horner is still against the idea of the changes for next year. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below, gpfans.com, for all the latest breaking news in Formula One.